Well, hello everyone. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube, but I have some new experiences to share. I had a thought today, and I come to the conclusion that growth is a choice. Not everybody wants to grow. Not everybody wants to move beyond a certain stage of life. Not everyone wants to move beyond their current experiences because there's a comfort zone there. People find it comfortable to be where they are. They know what to expect. They know how to react to certain experiences because it's usual for them. And being a person raised in a certain church, in a certain religion as a Jehovah's Witness, let's not underestimate the difficulty or the level of difficulty required to lose a certain perception or certain ideals and to make a conscious decision to throw away the past for what is unknown for the future. And so I'm happy to announce that finally I put my memoir on Amazon. I published it a couple of days ago as an ebook, and now it's being published in the next couple of days as a paperback, which I hope you all will go to Amazon.com, search Disfellowshipped, Forced Exile and Liberation, and get the book and read it and understand where I came from and my willpower to change and to build a better life. Now, with that being said, I know there's a lot of material in there about how much I hate religion. And recently, I just came back from Indonesia, about Bali actually, 5-hour flight south of Hong Kong, a third world country by no little measure. And what I saw there was a heavy presence of the Buddha religion, I believe, Buddhism. And my previous perception of Buddhism was always scary, and overwhelming. But what I noticed, in just kind of speaking with brevity, is that I noticed that there was a significant amount of peace in that country. There was a lot of calmness in that country. And then I got to thinking that, maybe some people need religion. I don't need religion per se, but there are some people that need religion to possibly teach them a certain way to live for whatever reason. Maybe certain members of the human race are somewhat more evolved than others. It's evolved in others. Maybe that's possible. But I now don't feel like I need to hate religion so much. Maybe some people need religion in order to find their way. But what I did realize, also realize about my experience in Indonesia is that these people don't seem to be hampered by their religious practices. In other words, I feel like their religious practices are not hampering them from leading the kind of life that they want to lead. It's not causing them to hate their fellow man. Of course, I was only there for 10 days, but it's not causing them to be evil towards one another or try to force their ideals down the throat of others. That's a Christian thing, I think. So some people may actually need religion. Like I said, I don't really need religion, so I don't want people who read my book to take it that I haven't evolved past my hatred for religion, because I do think I have evolved beyond that hatred for religion, but that's a choice I made in order to be a happier individual, so that when I see the Jehovah's Witnesses walking down the street, I don't hate them as much, actually hate them at all. I feel sorry for their choice because they feel locked in. So my point is this: if my book is not really about just religion or just about Jehovah's Witnesses, but that's my story, right? But my story is also being rewritten every day, and it's a story of diligence. It's a story of willfulness. It's a story of forceful moving ahead despite the challenges in my own head and the challenges that other people put in front of me. I do believe as humans we have this incredible amount of willpower to push forward. But in pushing forward and doing so, sometimes we have to leave old ideals and old beliefs and old individuals and old friendships and old relationships behind, and then trust that the universe or God or whatever that you place above yourself, because there is most definitely something above us, that force or that entity will then give you, as a reward for your due diligence, your effort, your forceful moving ahead, will give you a replacement for those things. I'm a pure example of that. I lost my mom and dad to that religion, and all my friends. I don't really count them as friends. I say they might be pseudo friends, not real friends. And I have received a new father and a new mother and a daughter along the way, and a few really good friends that I can count on, both men and women, in any circumstance, at any time, day or night, to come to my aid or to render some assistance. And so that replacement has happened in full for me. I lack nothing. So let me repeat that again. I don't lack anything by making a conscious decision to grow and to get out of a situation of pain and suffering. Now, with that being said, the challenges are still there, right? There are still challenges moving forward, because I do miss my mom and dad, and I do miss other things that, in situations that maybe were a part of my past that I don't have anymore. But the things moving forward and things in the future and the things in the present are so much greater than the things in the past and the things that I lost. I really don't mourn them significantly. And the upside to making the decision to grow is that there are always people watching. There are always people who are sitting in a situation maybe similar to yours or worse. And maybe they are just on the cusp of making a significant life change or making a move, but they just can't get there because they know how hard it's going to be. And then there's you, right? Then there's that person they see on the sidelines over here that's just making a push. And they just continue to make a push no matter what setback they have. They keep inching forward, right? It's a game of inches. Football is a game of inches, just the same way life is a game of inches. And then if you continue to push and move and just strive and keep pushing and breaking down barriers and pushing through holes and digging out the dirt, there's somebody who's always watching. And you never know the story that you're rewriting might be the story, enough of the story that's going to get them to start moving in the direction that they need to move in. And I'm not a person that is going to reach out and try to change someone's story. I just don't have time for that, and I have my own issues to deal with. But if someone were to reach out to me and say, hey, look, I need help rewriting my story, I'm all about that. And I'm also all about follow me. Let's go down the road together, because it's not an easy one. And the more people that do it together, the more likely we'll all succeed, right? So it's an interesting story. It's an interesting perspective to think about where you are in life and how you get there to the next level, and the willpower that you have to fight. I mean, it's just you just have to keep pushing through. I mean, because if you don't create the willpower within yourself, most people aren't going to be able to give it to you, because they're in their own head with their own challenges and with their own problems, and just like I am from time to time with those things. But the rewards can be significant. For example, I've had a lot of good things happen to me in the last couple of years, just one good, amazing thing after another. But nothing can be more amazing than having my now 21-year-old son, Caleb, move in with me. And it has been somewhat tumultuous, because it's not just me anymore. I have a family that's in the house with me. But with that being said, his growth has been atmospheric, if you will. Because I have been able to provide a foundation for stability for him. And that comes from the incredible amount of hard work that I've put in to get myself out of just a muddy situation, and to build family, and to build foundation, and to build an emotional, intellectual, and mental strength that he can kind of like fall back on. And I got you, kind of like we have these discussions all the time, and he's coming to his own realizations about the religion, the way he was taught, where his mother is, and where his brother is. His brother's not in the church anymore, but he's having his own challenges, but he's coming to the same realization that, wow, Dad struggled for all of us so that we don't have to struggle as hard, right? So that is a beautiful reward in itself. And even if you're a struggling individual, even if you're a Jehovah's Witness or ex-Jehovah's Witness, or you're just a person caught in a stupid ass fucked up situation, there are a lot of resources out there. I can be a resource for you, but there are books and materials out there that won't sound like the things you've been hearing from friends and family and from religion and from other schools of thought, but there'll be things that challenge your current way you think and the current way that you go about your day. You've heard it, you hear Oprah talking about it. You hear all these other sages talking about, the power of the mind, and the power of the mind to set your being on working on things. For example, if it is your goal to finish school and that's what you want to do, you want to go back to school and earn a degree so you can have a foundation for moving your life forward. Say, for example, coming out of a cult. the more you think about those positive things, the more your mind, when you go to sleep at night, says, okay, we need to find a way to work these things out. So it becomes a matter of what you dwell on. And I have that challenge all the time, right? So sometimes I have to just sit back and I have to think about what do I want? What am I dwelling on? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it moving me forward? And those are things that are real. And many times those things are not taught to us as younger adults because, those people don't have a hard time grasping that they can actually have that much control over their life. I mean, I think people have a tendency, it's easy to say, well, I failed because it was this person's fault or that fault, or they did this or they did that, or somebody doesn't want me to win. Well, that's not the case at all. I mean, really, everything starts within us as individuals. And, you are your universe and you are your centerpiece. So everything starts with you. Your happiness, barometer of happiness starts with you. Your work ethic starts with you. Everything starts in your mind and inside your being. So from the moment you get up in the morning, you say, I'm going to drive towards a certain end game. And, we could talk about this topic for a long time. And there's a lot of things I've learned out of it. Lastly, I'll leave you with this. Coming back from Indonesia, I found myself at a level of peace unprecedented for me, meaning that I had never really experienced this level of peace being in another country. And of course, we know that material wealth and money doesn't really have a significant contributor to happiness. It can have a little bit, but the biggest contributor is you. And I noticed that I got up on Sunday morning and walked outside my house, and two people on the street cursing and yelling and acting a fool. And I said to myself, well, how do I handle that? So I went into my backyard, and I have a little fire pit that I've been building. Me and my son Caleb have built a fire pit. It's kind of funny, right? Because we both love fire. And I just started burning wood. I chopped down a bunch of wood, and I spent probably 4 or 5 hours outside just cutting wood and just burning fire. And because I realized that even from a child, that was something I used to love to do with my dad. It just brought me a great amount of peace. I'm just going about my business, cutting fire, putting wood into the fire pit, and I'm using paper, using my torch, smoking my cigar, and just making fire. And so therefore, I was able to just easily block out all the things that were going on around me that may have been a disruptor to my peace, right? Because peace is really everything. If you don't have peace, and you can get peace anywhere you want. I don't care if you live in a one-bedroom apartment or studio or 5,000 square foot house, or if you live in a castle, you can create peace because peace comes within. Find what it is that brings you happiness and do that until you overcome whatever anxiety or stress that you have. So anyway, I say all that to say, hey, go on Amazon.com, download the material, the Disfellowship book, and I'll have a paperback out soon. And the point of this is certainly I'm not making money from that, but I really want to share my story because I'm not ashamed of it. And I've lived through some significantly stressful times, and I know that you do as well. And so perhaps my story can help you to build your life to the next phase, to help you to get through some struggles and know that you can win, because there are some of us out here that are winning big, and you can too. So until next time, I'm going to try to keep the videos coming. And until next time, I hope to hear from you in the comments. Share what you are experiencing. If you have anything to say about my comments, share those as well, and then we can move forward from there. I'm Freedom's Witness, and have yourself a good day.